Theodore, hey, we do that at different time. This is not bath time. Hey guys, I'm Elliot. This is Everything Elliot, and today we're gonna go over this beautiful thing that's behind me here. This is the cheapest running cost way to heat your shop, workshop, anything like that. This is what's called a waste oil heater. This is quite a large unit. This is a 300,000 BTU unit, so it's a lot bigger than a lot of you might need. They do sell smaller ones, but the beauty of this thing is it runs on used motor oil. So the fuel is free, and you can't argue with free. I am a big wood guy. I heat my house with wood, but I have this out here because I would need a ton of wood to produce the same heat that this thing puts out. Now, my specific heater is made by Lanair. It's a DHI300. The D stands for ductable. Well, that D I did there is probably backwards, so we'll do DHI. Let me do this. 300. I think that's right. And it's made to put ducts in, so you can see how I have this piece off the bottom here with just 3 8-inch elbows coming off of it. It's actually made to have a duct coming up, out, and then you'd run it up on your ceiling and put vents down. So how this thing works, I've got a 250-gallon tank down here that's got some used motor oil in it, and there's a pump. You can see the pump back there, filter, pump. That pushes oil pressure up through, the line goes back, and the burner's on the back side of this unit. It might be kind of windy here because we're in the heat. This pump pushes about 10 PSI, and then the regulator, which is right there, bumps it down to about 3 PSI. 3 PSI of oil into this heater, hooks up to air as well. Mine pushes about 13 PSI of air. What it does is the oil goes in, the air ionizes it, and makes a flame. This is a clean burn system, so basically you're not getting any fumes or anything out of here. There's a combustion chamber in here. The blower motor that's on top there blows the cold air past the combustion chamber and out here as hot air. Now you might be saying to yourself, how is this so much cheaper than anything else? Elliot, you split wood, you cut wood, why wouldn't you just have wood in here? Well, the big difference is the oil is free. You can get it anywhere. You can stop at your local Napa, Advanced, AutoZone. Anywhere that sells used motor oil actually has to accept it as used motor oil when you're done changing your oil. You can just go to those stores and say, hey, you got any used motor oil that I can have? They gladly give it to you because they have to pay to get rid of it. So I actually get mine in 55-gallon drums. The Napa that's local to me, they collect 55-gallon drums. They take those quarts and half gallons and gallons of oil that people bring in, they dump them into 55-gallon drums. I'll go there, give them an empty 55-gallon drum, and they give me a full one. I store them outside until I need them. If I wanted to heat with wood, I would have to be paying for the electricity to run the blower on that as well as feeding the stove, and it would be a lot. So this thing burns about 1.5 gallons of oil an hour. So 250 gallon, that gets you like 125 hours of burn time when it's full, which goes pretty quickly. If you're in here all day, 10 hours at a time, 12 hours at a time, it goes quick. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna show you the process of getting the oil out of the barrel and into the tank back here. Now, if you've got a transfer pump, this would be pretty easy. You just put the transfer pump into the barrel, pump it into the tank, and we're all done. I don't have a transfer pump. I do it a little bit of a different way, so let's take a look. So if you're gonna be working with barrels, I recommend you get one of these tools. This is called a barrel wrench. Works for taking off the tops of these barrels, and that's what I'm gonna do. I need to take the big plug out. Watch out, Theodore. You're really in my shop. Excuse me. So I take that out, I'll set this aside. And what I've made here is a 45 PVC 2-inch pipe thread to ball valve with some flexible hose on here that we just screw in here. So I've got the valve on and I've got it tipped up right now. You don't want it down at this point because we still have to tip this barrel down onto the forks because the barrel obviously has to be parallel with the ground. It's time to tip it on the ground. Now you gotta use some muscle, so we'll take it off the forks to begin with. And I took it off the wrong way. Great. I need the valve on this side, so that means I need to tip it over this way. Now, I don't know how heavy these are. It's 55 gallons, so whatever oil weighs. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start the tractor, lift the forks up about 6, 8, 10, 12 inches. And that way when I tip the barrel down, it doesn't have as far to fall. It doesn't have as far to fall when I tilt it. And of course you want a little back tilt on the fork so it doesn't roll off the front. And just like that, the barrel's on the forks. So you can see why I left that valve pointed up. So now there's no chance of that hitting the ground, breaking off. We're trying our best to avoid a Exxon Valdez type situation here.
We have an incident on the deepwater horizon.
So next thing I need to do is pull this tractor up close to the heater. Usually I have another guy with me so he can line the hose up as I'm pulling the tractor up, but I don't have anybody here. I'm gonna do it myself. So we'll pull the tractor up and see if we can't fit the hose in the hole. So just to recap, I've got the barrel up on the forks of the tractor, I've got the hose in here, and now we can turn the valve. There we go. So we're filling directly in, and it's creating a siphon in the barrel, so we gotta try to get this cap off. Oh, you can't see it. Try to get that cap off. We'll grab a flathead. Now you don't want to take the cap off too early because then oil will just come out. Some of these actually have a threaded cap on them. This one is just like a push to fit. If you have a threaded cap, you just take this end of the barrel wrench and you'll put it in there and it'll spin right off. So you can see how the flow is slowed down. That means it's sucking air, and I can actually feel it trying to suck air out. Oh, there's the cap right there. So that's what I was talking about. It actually wants to hold it in there, that's how much suction. You open it up, and we're back to full flow. Now, like I was saying, this tank is 250 gallons. I get 55 gallon drums, so that's 5-ish. 55 gallon drums of oil will last me about, 50 hours, 45 hours or so, whatever. So I gotta do this like once every 2 weeks. I'll put it in there, put a 55 gallon drum in, and the only thing that it costs me is electricity. Now, it does have a big blower on it to push air, but you would have a blower on a, what do they call those? Fireplace. You'd have a blower on a fireplace too. So what's the difference? You're gonna blow hot air using electricity with a furnace or with a fireplace. At least the fuel on this one is free. And if you're wondering how good of a job this does, it's a 300,000 BTU unit. I don't know what that's rated for. The place that I got it from, it was a warehouse. It was like 100,000 square feet, and that was their only heating unit. Naturally, that warehouse was insulated. My shop, is not insulated. And it does get quite cold outside, but basically all the shop does is breaks the wind. This 300,000 BTU unit will make the shop about 80 degrees with no insulation when it's like 5 degrees outside. It is pushing some heat. I don't think any fireplace or pellet stove or anything like that would be able to keep up with no insulation in here. That's the benefit of having this. The other thing, how expensive are these? I purchased this unit used from a warehouse for $800. It was taken apart, parked in a corner, unknown running condition, but everything on them is rebuildable. So I took the risk at the 800 bucks, bought it, plugged it in, basically, well, I had to rewire it, plugged it in, and it ran. I have since put some more parts into it. I rebuilt the burner. Yeah, that's it. Rebuilt the burner. And I just dump oil in it, and it works. Well, if you guys have any questions about the waste oil heater, I've been running this thing for about 3 or 4 years now. I know it pretty well in and out. So drop your comments below. I'll do my best to help you out. And if you're looking for one, Lanair makes them, Clean Burn makes them. I think it's called like Shenandoah. Shenandoah makes them. There's a couple companies out there. Lanair, Clean Burn. Those are basically the two big names. Check them out if it's something you're interested in. And check your local Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that if you're looking to pick one up. Well, that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. My oil's still draining, so I'm gonna take care of that, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.